And the fallout from the police officer driving through that crowd of people in Tacoma is continuing, Jennifer. And we have a number of updates out of Tacoma today. We're going to
Yeah.
try to move through this as quickly as possible. Today, there was a peaceful protest, not anything associated with what happened on Sunday or with the group of people. This was a protest that was sanctioned by local area leaders, organizers in the Tacoma area. And unlike on Sunday, those organizers, the local organizers, were met with armed police, including armed with long guns. And the Pierce County airplane was circling endlessly over Tacoma while what looked like maybe 20 or 30 people peacefully protested today in
Yeah.
downtown. Great use of taxpayer resources there in Tacoma.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so much that keeps kind of coming out about what happened in Tacoma, that it's just another incident of, kind of like consistent issues with the police, that continue to go unaddressed in the context of use of force. So yeah.
Yes. And there's been some interesting develops that came out of Tacoma. We're going to
Yeah.
play a video clip. This video has not been seen anywhere near as much as the other two videos. That is why we went with that warning. I'm going to warn you right now. It is a graphic video clip. It is a critical video clip for people to see because I think it speaks for itself. Tough video to watch. It's another tough video to watch from a different angle, Jennifer.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard me audibly gasp during the video. Yeah.
So, and there's a lot to unpack in that video clip that kind of came out a couple of days ago. This is a video clip that really shows firsthand what was going on around that police cruiser. And the first thing I'm going to say is this. If banging on a hood like I just banged on this desk is justification for running someone over, Jennifer, I probably could have run over 5 to 10 people in my life and gotten away with it, apparently.
Yeah, because immediately after, we talked about this a little bit on Monday, but immediately after all of these stories came out about, protesters were not protesters, these people were they were there for, they were racing cars, whatever, car people. They were there like banging, trying to get into the vehicle, smashed out, the back window, all of this stuff. And then come to find out, as more is revealed, none of that is really the case. So
exactly. If anything, Jennifer, not that I if I questioned the veracity of Quinn Bell's story, we would have never had him on the story. It's basically exactly as Quinn Bell described it from his vantage point.
Yeah. So what is the justification for this then? What justifies, being annoyed isn't necessarily justification. This is somebody who's been a police officer for 20 years. This is something, they've never encountered anything like this.
And that's the thing, right? Because I've really been operating in this space of, all right, big crowd, they panicked.
Yeah.
Job description of police officer, shouldn't panic in emergency situation. But this doesn't look, if that was panic over that, I mean, again, it's like anybody who's like driven out of a concert or a big event or something. If you've done enough of that, you've kind of experienced this at some point in your life. And normal people don't run people over when this happens. The other thing that video shows, Jennifer, clearly, window's not broken, nobody punched, kicked, hit, nothing. I mean, it's literally, that's it.
Yeah. And what was kind of bothering me on social media for a few days after the fact is that people that were otherwise against a lot of the police action were playing a little bit of devil's advocate here, going, well, they were doing illegal stuff, so they shouldn't have been doing that, and that wouldn't have happened. And I just can't get behind that argument because I see nothing that warranted that kind of response, regardless of what they're doing.
Yep. And that video angle in particular kind of takes basically all question out of the scenario.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a little bit more about videos we run down the stories. The next thing I do is I want to report on, we made an erroneous report. We had erroneously reported that the more seriously injured individual had been released from the hospital because from the sources that we had, including sources that were reported in other more mainstream news organizations, that was the case. That is not the case. The more serious person, at least at 5 o'clock today, was still in the hospital. And we apologize for repeating information that was incorrect. I have said many, many times, if we don't have accuracy, we have nothing. And so for that, I apologize because we have really worked hard to try to get this particular story right. Jennifer, another thing that's come up on this one, the Tacoma Police Union has issued a scathing rebuke to the city, calling it what they feel is the city is bowing at the altar of mob rule with hints of racism. And the police union said in a statement, with one hand, the city touts that it called for an independent investigation of the incident that occurred downtown Saturday night. And with the other hand, the city passes judgment on the involved officer and all Tacoma police officers by again implying wrongdoing and criminality spurred by racist tendencies. They go on to say, enough. The involved officer, a decorated 30-year officer, a member of the Tacoma community with a stellar record who hails from Southeast Asia, is not a racist criminal. He is a human and a dedicated public servant who reacted to a violent mob trying to do him harm, unquote.
That is the equivalent of saying I'm not racist because I have a black friend.
Thank you. And here's the other thing, because the part in the video that we cut because we would probably get taken off the air if we showed that video, the people that were hit or the person that was hit and injured the worst is either light passing BIPOC or as they look candidly as white as me, and I'm as white as Wonder Bread. And the only people that I've heard trying to make this a racist issue is the police and the people trying to defend them.
Yeah, well, they clearly felt it necessary to divulge the police officers' ethnicity as part of their argument against this potentially being a racist incident.
And I'm not going to stand up here and question their record, right?
Yeah.
Look, people fuck up.
What's the F-bomb? This is written.
Right? And I think that's kind of what happened here. Was it frustration? Was it, I'm out of here in a few months and I want a little, because I'm sick of this crap? I mean, we don't know. And we're never going to know what was in their head. But watching particularly the video we just ran, I am not buying I was afraid for my life. I'm just not buying it.
Yeah, it's really difficult to buy that based on what we've seen. But also too, I don't know. I don't have any justification for this really, but it does raise interesting questions about that. I know this person is currently suspended, correct?
Yeah, they are. They're on leave.
Yeah, they're on leave, and they're close to retirement. But yeah, it just seems like such a very poorly thought out response for somebody that's been a police officer for so long.
I'm going to call out Brandy Cruz in this because Brandy Cruz this morning, she couldn't resist blowing the dog whistle over at Q Fox 13 because Brandy seems to be bucking for a job at like Newsmax or OWN or Fox National. And she wrapped herself in the warm, fuzzy blanket of being fair and balanced and working to bridge the divide of people with differing opinions. while blaming the victims and defending the police officers, saying that they were being assaulted by a violent mob, when the video evidence that's out there doesn't support that, particularly the video that we found. And I'm going to call it out here. Brandy, you're the friggin' college-trained journalist, not me.
Yeah, she has plays devil's advocate in the worst possible way. And I just can't stand her reporting. I'm just going to say it. I'm college educated too. I can say that. So yeah, she's been off the rails even more so lately. But I just, to describe a group as a violent mob is already attempting, you've done something wrong. You're drawing attention to the ethnicity of the officer to try and dispel any notion that it might have been racist, but you're also at the same time calling this a violent mob. So you're already setting up your defense in your statement because you fucked up. Okay.
Ooh, I get to do the button.
What's the F-bomb? This is written. This is written.
I love the F-bomb button. It's one of my favorite. I think I like it more than the Chud buttons right now. And the last one, we have one more in here. We told you we'd follow up you on the police board meeting that happened on Tuesday. We said that Monday on happy hour because that was happening at Monday, literally while we were on happy hour. And it went about as well as we expected. It was a shit show. With basically my understanding was the deputy mayor or vice, I can't quite remember their title. They go by because they're called different things in different cities, trying to get back on track on this isn't an issue about street racing. This isn't an issue about racism because this isn't even racism. This is about a police officer that ran over a group of people. Can't we talk about that, please? And they couldn't. But we learned something else in this meeting, Jennifer.
What's that?
There's no dash cam or body cam video. Isn't that amazing?
So surprising to me. I would feign shock, but I don't think I could do it right now.
Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
We'll keep following this. We'll keep following this train wreck of a story because it really, it's just. And the thing is, Jennifer, I read the comments and it's like diving. I don't understand why this is politicized, this particular incident. It hurts.
It got super political really quick. And I think it's because there's not currently political chaos occurring at the moment. So they need something to latch onto.
Well, there is a lot of political chaos, as you know. Malcontents, our show notes for Insurrection Update is 12 pages long. And so with that, I think we need to do a little pause for the cause, Jennifer, and go into our next segment. Hi, Malcontents. I'm David, the Malcontent, and I'd like to talk to you for a moment about supporting independent media. When you support us, you help us bring the before, during, and after. You help us defend the First Amendment. You help us amplify BIPOC and LGBTQIA voices, and you help us hold leaderships at a local, state, and federal level accountable. None of this would be possible without support by viewers just like you. When you become a patron for as little as $5 a month, you help buy technology, safety equipment, and help cover travel expenses so that we can continue to bring you news that you trust. If you can't become a patron, you can do a one-time donation on Venmo, and your dollars will go to the exact same causes. With your continued support, we can continue to amplify BIPOC and LGBTQIA voices while showing the truth on what is happening in the world around us. Once again, thank you.